Sally that girl in the kitchen. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sally that girl in the kitchen. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to make ground beef stuffed zucchini. It is a delicious recipe. It's cooked in a yummy tomato sauce, comes together real quick, and is absolutely delicious. You and your family are going to love it. So let's not wait another second. Let's get started. For today's recipe, you will need 1.5 pounds of lean ground beef or whatever ground meat you prefer. You can use turkey, lamb, or a combination of meats. That's up to you. 4 nice-sized zucchinis, 1 small yellow onion, 2 cloves of garlic, 3 sprigs of chopped fresh parsley, 2 tablespoons of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of salt, plus a pinch more separate, fresh ground black pepper to taste, 4 tablespoons of turbinado sugar. You may know it as sugar in the raw. 1 tablespoon of chicken powder. I use Olsen brand. The juice of half a lemon. 3 tablespoons of raisins, or more or less to your liking. A nice drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. 26 ounces of chopped tomatoes. 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and 2 large eggs. You will also need a large oven-safe baking dish, a large bowl, a small bowl and a fork, a cutting board with a knife, and a zucchini corer or a long thin knife, and some measuring spoons. The first thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Then I like to start with prepping all of my vegetables and herbs. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to mince my garlic into small pieces. And then once it's nice and chopped, set your garlic aside. Then I'm going to do the same with my onion. Just chop it up into equally sized pieces and set it aside. And now, you guessed it, I'm going to chop up my fresh sprigs of parsley. This adds a really nice flavor to the dish, so just give it all a nice chop. I actually like to remove the stems from my parsley and just chop up the leaves. So once your parsley is nicely chopped up, set it aside. So now it's time to core our zucchini. I'm actually using a tool that is made to core vegetables, but you can use a long, thin knife. It works perfectly fine. I've used it many times before having this tool, and it works fine. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to cut the top off of your zucchini to make a flat end. Then you are going to use your tool. And what I like to do is I like to go around and I kind of score my zucchini and I mark where I want to work, because that way I know that I'm not going to go too far. But I like to leave some zucchini. Some people like to go thinner and remove a lot. I like to leave a little bit of an edge. I actually enjoy having a thick zucchini, but if you want to go thinner, of course, by all means, you can scrape out as much as you want, just leaving a thin shell of zucchini. So I use my tool and I kind of mark my way as I go, and then little by little, I'm going to enter the tool deeper into the zucchini to remove the inner flesh. This is what your zucchini should look like once you've cored out the flesh. You want to leave a nice cavity and you want to go as far down as you can so that you're able to stuff your zucchini as far down as possible so that every bite gets that yummy meat filling. Now, you're going to want to repeat this process for all 4 zucchinis so that you create a lovely cavity in each of them so that we make lots of room for our yummy stuffing. Now, once you've created that lovely cavity in each of your 4 zucchinis, what I like to do is I like to bag up that flesh that I pulled out of the zucchini because I'm not going to discard it. I could totally use that to just cook it up with a little bit of soy sauce and some garlic, or use it in some zucchini muffins. So I just put it in a bag and put it in my refrigerator for later use. So now set your zucchinis aside and we're going to start working on our yummy meat filling. I like to put my ground beef into a large bowl. That way I can add right into that my chopped onions, then my chopped garlic. Get all that yumminess, don't leave any behind. My chopped parsley. And then I'm going to season the mixture. So I'm going to add my onion powder, my garlic powder, my paprika, my cumin, my salt, and then some fresh ground black pepper. I like to use fresh ground, but if you have pre-ground, that's fine too. This, of course, you can add to your liking. So now I'm going to use my hands to help incorporate all of those yummy pieces of chopped onion and garlic and parsley and all those yummy seasonings that I just added, and just bring them all together so that they're very well mixed in and they're distributed nicely throughout the meat mixture. I find that the hand is the best way to go in order to really distribute all of those yummy seasonings and all of those yummy ingredients. So now comes the fun part. We are going to use this meat mixture and we are going to stuff our zucchinis. So grab some meat and using your fingers, don't be afraid to just push it in there as far as it'll go, because the idea is to get the meat as far down into the zucchini as you can. Remember, when you cored it, you went as far down as possible so that we could get that yummy meat all the way in so that it runs throughout the entire zucchini. So make sure you're pushing it in as far as it'll go. And I like to leave a little bit of meat kind of sticking out from the end of the zucchini to give everyone a clue of what yumminess awaits inside. So now you're just going to repeat this process with all of your zucchinis until you've filled all 4 of them, remembering to get the meat in as far down as you can to stuff them really, really well. So at this point, you may be thinking that I've forgotten the 2 large eggs, but no, now is when I break the eggs into a bowl and then I beat them because I'm going to add them to the extra meat mixture that I have left over to create some meatballs, because I don't need the egg as a binder inside the zucchinis because the zucchini will hold the meat inside of it, and I actually like the texture without any binder. But in order to add the extra meat in with the sauce, then I like to add a couple of eggs so I help bind that yummy meat to create some meatballs. Once you've beaten your eggs well, add them into your meat mixture and then use a spoon to help combine the eggs with the meat. And then of course, once you've incorporated it somewhat, I always like to switch to my hands and make sure that the egg is very well incorporated with my meat mixture. So now that the meat mixture is ready, set it aside so that we can start putting our dish together and getting it ready for the oven. Now grab your baking dish and to it add your chopped tomatoes. I really like to use chopped tomatoes in this recipe because it makes our sauce thick and chunky. I don't want a runny sauce. I really like a thick, chunky sauce for this recipe. Now to your sauce, you're going to add a couple of tablespoons of tomato paste. I find that the addition of tomato paste just really brings out that yummy tomato flavor. So just give it a couple of tablespoons so that it really just brings our flavor up to the next level. So now add the juice of half of a lemon straight in to your sauce. And then add your turbinado sugar. The effect is going to be delicious. The sour from the lemon and the sweet from this yummy sugar make a great combination. And then I also like to add a little bit of chicken powder because I just feel that it really elevates the flavor of our sauce. And then finally, I put in a little drizzle of olive oil, not too much because the meat will always let out a little bit of fat, but I really love that yummy olive oil flavor in any tomato sauce. And then add your raisins. And of course, this is optional, but it really brings out that yummy sweetness in the sauce. So you can add as few or as many as you'd like. And then give it all a really good stir. So once you've stirred it all up, then you're going to add just a pinch of salt because the chicken powder already has sodium in it. So I just like to give it a little pinch of salt, and then I like to finish it off with a little more of that yummy fresh ground black pepper. I just really love what it does to the dish. So now it's time to assemble our dish for baking. You are going to grab your zucchinis and you're going to place all 4 of them into this yummy sauce. And then you're going to use your spoon and you're going to just spoon over a little bit of the sauce over those yummy zucchinis to kind of give them just a little bit of the yumminess on top. And then we will move on to shaping our meatballs so that we could add them into this already ridiculously yummy dish. So grab your meat in your hands and then just shape your meatballs as you would any other meatball. The only thing is I don't use any breadcrumbs or any other binder in this because I really don't feel that it needs it. With the yummy onions and parsley and the eggs and the sauce that it's cooking in, there's just plenty of moisture there that you don't need any other binder or filler. They're just absolutely delicious as is. So just repeat the process over and over until you've used all the meat to make your delicious meatballs, and just add them in and around your dish. And then once you've done so, use your spoon and also just put a little sauce on top of those meatballs so that they also get a lot of that yumminess. So now your ground beef stuffed zucchini and meatballs are ready for the oven. So very carefully place them into your hot oven to let them cook. And then set a timer for a full hour to let them get deliciously yummy and golden. Look how amazing these look. They are so yummy. The smell is so delicious. It's got those spices and that sweetness with that yummy tomato and that touch of raisins. Look at how pretty that looks. You see how I leave a little meat at the end and it looks so amazing and so inviting. Everyone is going to love this. This is really a tasty dish. And now it's time for the best part. It's time to taste it. I'm going to show you what it looks like when you slice it. And of course, while I'm at it, I can't wait to take a bite. Look how pretty that looks. You see that yummy meat going throughout that tender zucchini? Look at how beautiful it looks on the inside, filled all the way through. I can't wait to try it. Wow. So delicious. Wow. I have to take a bite of this yummy meatball with that chunky tomato sauce and those raisins. It's so tender, it just falls apart. It's absolutely delicious. I can't wait to taste it. So good. Wow. It's got that combination of sweet and just a little touch of sour. Absolutely delicious. This dish is so yummy, and look how beautiful it is. It is really an impressive looking dish. And as I said earlier, you can scoop out more zucchini and leave just a thin shell if you'd like, or you can leave it the way I do and leave that yummy zucchini surrounding that delicious meat. Absolutely delicious. You are going to love it. So how delicious does that look? It is so, so yummy. It's got that yummy ground beef inside, and it's got that delicious tomato sauce with just a touch of sweetness to it. It is so, so good. Trust me, you are going to love it. No, better yet, don't trust me. You're gonna have to try to make this recipe yourself. If you've enjoyed today's recipe, don't forget to like, comment, and share. And most importantly, remember to subscribe to my channel and to touch that little notification bell so that you don't miss out on a single amazing recipe that I have planned for you. See you next time. Sally, that girl in the kitchen.